most savage things I've ever done in an interview. I guess I learned that I never want to do anything like that again. Like, my dad had to drive me to the interview, and I'm like, what is going on? And I look back on that and I'm like, I could have made more money at Taco Bell. And I was like, I would love to have that on my resume, that I interned for a company based in Hollywood, California. Like, if anybody's telling you something that feels too good to be true, that's probably because it is. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited that you clicked on my video, and I hope you stick around because I am uploading new videos weekly on my channel to give you an idea of what it's actually like to run a business full-time. I'm 25 years old and I went full-time with my business in November of 2022, and it has been the most wild ride. I started this business out of a college dorm room, had no idea it would become what it is today. But all I can say is that I'm extremely grateful, and I just love taking y'all along for the ride with me. Just finished up a client meeting. It went really, really well. I just feel like I'm sweating now though. I don't know what it is about doing client meetings, but even if I'm feeling like super confident, I just get like clammy and like sweaty. This is really gross, but like at one point I was like, there's sweat dripping down my armpit and dropping onto the rest of my body, and it was nasty. Sorry for that visual there, but like, I'm just a sweaty gal. I don't know. I thought it would just be really fun today to walk you through all the different jobs that I've had in the past that kind of led me up to becoming a full-time small business owner, and just kind of just share that timeline with you. I always think it's so interesting to hear about how other people's journeys have evolved, and I'm like, how did you get to where you are now? I'm not gonna go into detail about like I was a nanny or I babysat, like those, you know, things that a lot of people do when they're young, but I'll share with you some of the other things starting back when I was in high school, in college, after college, and then where we're at right now. If you have ever had any of the jobs, like maybe there's a job that we have both worked that is similar to one another, I would love to know in the comments if we have anything in common in that way. But I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right in. Oh, and also I just want to remind you that if you have not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and just pause what you're doing for a second, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you're enjoying what you're seeing so far, and I would really appreciate it. It really helps me out a lot. So my first real job was when I was in high school. To be honest, I don't really remember when this was, but when I was in high school, I decided that I wanted to have a job because one of my really good friends had a job and she was working at Old Navy, and I just thought it was so cool that she was working and that she worked with a cash register and that she worked at a clothing store, and I just thought it was so cool that she worked and had her own money at her age. And so I was like, you know what, I like really want to go get a job, like a cool job, because I was making money from like babysitting and nannying and things like that, but I was like, I want to go get like a real job. Looking back on that, I'm like, did I really need to do that? I just don't know. I remember getting advice from people that were like, you have your entire life to work, like don't work until you have to work. Thankfully, unfortunately, I was blessed that my parents were providing for my every need. And so did I have to get a job at that time? No, but I thought it was cool. So I went and I got a job at Charming Charlie as a sales associate. And I'm pretty sure that they are now bankrupt. But I have to be honest, it was a horrible experience. And I'm not here to drag Charming Charlie, but I'm going to say what I'm going to say. It just was an awful experience. It was so horrible. I remember my first shift, I was doing like the closing shift at the store. I was getting a migraine because I struggle with those a lot. And I mean, like I was in major pain, and it was just me and one other woman in the store, and she was having me straighten the store, which if you've never worked in retail before, never worked at Charming Charlie, you have to go through the entire store, and the size of our store was the size of basically like a normal Charming Charlie store times 2. So, and if you've never been in a Charming Charlie before, everything in there is completely color coded. So all the red things are on one table, all the blue things are on one table, and all of the clothing is organized by color and then also by like sleeve length. And so there's a lot of organization taking place in this store, which is like great for people that love organization. I love organization. However, straightening the store at the end of the day was an absolute nightmare because the store was huge. There were so many things that were out of place that needed to be fixed, needed to be straightened. And it was like, if you didn't get it perfect, then the manager was going to come in the next day and be all pissy and somebody was going to get in trouble. And I was doing this for $7.25 an hour. And I look back on that and I'm like, I could have made more money at Taco Bell. The thing that I'm like, why did I do this? I remember having to do shifts on Sundays after church. And that was like my least favorite time to work there, was on Sundays after church, because it just, I don't know, after church on Sundays, I want to go to lunch with my family and then go take a nap. It was not a fun job. It was not a good time. I literally think I only made it there. I think I was there for like a month and a half, and that was it. And then I was like, I'm gone, because life is too short to be doing something that you hate. And I have lived by that since then. My senior year of high school, I got an internship at a wedding website, and it was a local wedding website. And the reason why I did it was because at my school, you had to do your junior and senior year an internship, and it was like a week-long internship. And then my senior year, I was like, you know what? I just want to do something fun. Like, I just want to do something really, really fun and different. And then I was like, you know what? I want to intern for a wedding planner. One of my friends and I decided that we were going to look up like local wedding planners, and what we stumbled upon was not what we were looking for. Instead, what we found was this wedding website in the area that they don't like plan the weddings, but basically the way that they were making money is by having like featured vendors and sponsors and things like that are paying to have a spot on their website, and we're like advertising to brides, providing, you know, inspirational articles, photos, things like that. And they desperately needed some help. Social media needed help really bad. It was not great. And so my friend that was going to do it with me ended up not doing it with me. So it was just me. I did the week-long internship. I decided, you know what? Like, I enjoy social media. I can help with this. Like, I basically just found a way to be useful and to add value to their team and to continue being a valuable asset. Like, I really, really wanted to make my own money. So I was just like, you know what? I am just going to find a way to make it so that at the end of this week, they have to hire me like as an intern indefinitely. And not just for like a week. And this internship that you do for a week is like completely unpaid. But you don't have to go to school, which is kind of fun. So I was working there, and then I basically just asked them at the end of the week for a job and got the job. Very grateful for that. I think it was a good stepping stone. Definitely not somewhere that I wanted to be for forever, but it was a good stepping stone. What I was doing with this company was managing their social media, posting blogs on their websites. I was curating partnerships, things like that. Even curating some partnerships with some local influencers in the Indianapolis area, and just trying to do the best I could to leave it better than I found it. And it was really nice because it was remote. Like, I did come into the office from time to time, but especially when I went to college and I was at Butler, I could do all of that from my dorm room, which was great. And because it was remote, there were times where there was one summer where I was literally working multiple different jobs. I was working at Charming Charlie. I was working at another boutique at a mall here. I was working at 2 different retail stores, and like, for what? I don't know. So I was splitting my time between there. I was nannying, and I was doing this wedding website. So I had 4 jobs in one summer. I don't understand why I did that, and I wish that somebody would have told me to not. So then when I was in college, I kept working at this wedding website through my junior year, and then finally I was like, this has to stop. I don't have time for this, because I was also leading a Bible study at Butler, and honestly, I was taking so many classes, which is part of what allowed me to graduate early. So I actually graduated a semester early, so I was able to get out of college before COVID hit, because I graduated in December of 2019, and so that was really awesome, because then I didn't have to deal with like the remote classes and just how that affected everybody's college experience and their graduation days, things like that. So my husband and I both graduated a semester early, and we were really, really blessed by the Lord's timing and all of that. So I'm really thankful for that. But yeah, so I finally just got to a point with this wedding website where I was like, I hate this. I don't want to do this anymore. I think it was one of those situations where I was like, we are reaching the end of our time here. Like, I just knew it was time, because obviously I wasn't going to stay there for forever. But I just really knew that it was time to kind of be done. It's just hard. I mean, I felt like I didn't have time to devote to it, because I was in school and they would need things from me, and I'm in class, and it was just difficult to balance that. So I quit doing that, and then I decided that I wanted to I saw this, I don't even remember how I saw this online, but I basically ended up interning for a company that was based in Hollywood. So it was a complete remote internship. It was a tech startup. It was an app in the fashion industry that was actually created by somebody that had previously been on Project Runway, which was cool. And she's a super successful entrepreneur. She's done lots of different things. Really just like seemed like a cool opportunity. And I was like, I would love to have that on my resume, that I interned for a company based in Hollywood, California. Did it end up helping my resume? To be honest with you, no, it did not. Very quickly, like I just kind of realized, I was like, what am I doing? And I'm pretty sure that this was unpaid. I can't exactly remember, but I don't think I was making any money from this. But basically, it's a tech startup, and it is like an app trying to focus on sustainable clothing. And so the way that they do that is by basically providing a marketplace to sell your clothes. I guess kind of similar to like a Poshmark, basically just a big clothing exchange app. My job as an intern was trying to get more people to sign up for the app. And so I was doing that and sending like all these DMs, and they were kind of like coaching us on how to reach out to different girls. I mean, it was just not fun at all. We had to reach out to a certain amount of girls on Instagram and try to get them to sign up for the app. And looking back on it, I'm like, that was so like it just kind of feels so salesy and slimy. And I hate to say that. I'm not trying to like talk badly about the company at all, which is why I'm not going to mention the name of the company. It's just that I'm like, wow, I was doing like all this unpaid labor, and for what? Like, it didn't help me on my resume. I will say the owner was super, super kind, and so was my like mentor that I had there, and I'm like very appreciative of that. It's just that when I look back on it, I'm like, that honestly like did not help me. There were a bunch of us girls that were signed up. There was one girl that I met through it that we actually became friends for a little bit, which was kind of fun. She was awesome, so funny, so sweet. But we were just all so young and naive and like excited that like, oh my gosh, like a girl that's been on Project Runway, like she, you know, this company's based out in Hollywood, California. Oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure that the way that it ended was that there was like a number of us that were like, I'm pretty sure they just let go of like all the interns all at once, saying like, you know, we weren't meeting our goals or whatever. And I'm pretty sure just like all at once they like just let go of all the interns. And then that was kind of like the beginning of the end, because I think shortly after that, like everybody left and the whole company just kind of went kaput, which I'm like, I feel like I could have seen that one coming. But again, it's just like one of those things. I'm like, I did it. It was a learning experience, I guess. I learned that I never want to do anything like that again. Okay, so now is when we start talking about some of the jobs that were a little bit more important and formative in my life, kind of leading me up to becoming a small business owner. My favorite internship that I ever did was with a local magazine called Kit Magazine. Working at Kit was like the best ever. When I got an internship with Kit, I was at Butler, and my career mentor was kind of like, you need to get an internship, because we had to have, I believe, 2 to graduate. And I was kind of getting down to the wire my junior year for finding an internship. And so I basically was like, I want to do something fun. And I felt like I was getting pushed in a lot of different directions. Like, hey, like go apply for an internship at Aflac, or like get into sales. And I remember I went to this group interview at Aflac, and the chick that was talking to us was like, I never have a bad day here. I am never counting down until 5 o'clock. And she made it seem so flowery and so rosy. And I was like, you're lying. Because even like, I am obsessed with my job. I love what I do. And it's 4 o'clock right now. And I'm like, I'm excited for the workday to be over. Like, I'm excited for it to be 5 o'clock. I would like to be done doing work now. I love what I do, but like, work is work. Like, if anybody's telling you something that feels too good to be true, that's probably because it is. And that's something that I learned in that interview. This was like probably one of the most savage things I've ever done in an interview. But she said, I want you all to take a piece of paper and write down on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you in moving on in the interview process? And 1 can be, no, I'm not interested. Please don't contact me further. And 10 can be, yes, I'm like all in on this. I want to move forward. And at first I was like, well, maybe I should do like a 3 or a 4, just to like be nice. And then there was something in me that was like, Sophie, do not sugarcoat this. You don't want Aflac to call you back. You don't want to continue in this. And so I put down a 0. I put down a 0. I was like, this was a waste of my time. Like, I'm sorry, but when I went to that interview, I was like, I cannot believe that I went to this. So like, was not in a safe part of town. Like, my dad had to drive me to the interview, and I'm like, what is going on? And it was kind of getting down the wire. And I remember I went to see my career mentor, and we were kind of talking like, what am I going to do next? And then I was like, just give me a minute and I will find something. And I had already reached out to this local magazine. I'd reached out to their publisher, and I had done actually a coffee interview with her because I was like, I really want to work with you. Like, here's all the things I can do for you. I really want to be your intern. And she was just the best. I feel like we immediately hit it off, and it's kind of cool because she's actually had several interns before that have gone on to be like really successful influencers, which is kind of cool. Kelly and I talked, we had a really great talk, and I was just waiting for an email back from her. And as I was leaving the steps of my career mentor's office that day, after I was just like, well, just give me a little time. Like, I think this is going to work out. As I was walking down the steps, I got the email back from Kelly that was saying that I could be an intern, like the job is yours. And I'm pretty sure I called my mom like right after that, and I was walking back to my dorm, and I was just so excited. And it ended up being one of the most fun things I've ever done. Like, I got to go to all of these photo shoots. I actually got to do some creative directing for some of the photo shoots, and I got to choose like some cover photos. Let me just show you. So I have to just show you because I literally have a bunch of copies right here. But one of my friends ended up being on the cover of Kit because we needed models for something, and I was like, oh my gosh, she can be a model. And I got to pick the cover photo of my friend, and here it is. How cute. So this is a magazine. This is my friend on the cover, literally like the coolest thing ever. We had a fashion show at a garden center, and I got to do all of like the social media promotion for that. Here's the little fashion show. So we were working with like Indianapolis influencers for that, which was really fun. And just like being part of the photo shoots, I like was so cool. This one was for a baby nursery. So I got to go to this person's house and participate in the photo shoot. And I was just kind of getting content for like social media, Instagram stories, taking notes, things like that. And then sometimes we would do photo shoots where there would be things like flat lays. And sometimes I got to even like put those together myself and like arrange them how I wanted to, which was super cool. But the like feature, the cover story was for like all these different tutorials on how to do hair. Like, I think that's so cool. And it was so cool that my friend was in it. And then later they actually became like one of my first clients for my business, and I started doing illustrations, and they were getting published in the magazine, which was beyond cool. That was one of the most amazing things, just like having an opportunity so early on in my career to see my designs in print was just wild. I also wrote a column for the magazine. We just put together an outfit on Amazon, and it was called Click Click Chic, and I would just do like a little write-up for each of the pieces. And it was so wild, like seeing like Text by Sophie, like having my name in there. What a time to be alive that was. I mean, how often do you get the opportunity to have your name in a magazine? One of my first map illustrations that ended up in their magazine. But anyways, the owner of Kit, she went on to create Indiana Peony Festival, which if you follow me on Instagram, you see behind the scenes of me preparing for that. And it's kind of unique because I have a booth there selling my own products, but then I also throughout the year do a bunch of illustrations for their marketing and promotion for them on social media and in print. And so it's just cool to continue working with them in that capacity. After that, I became an intern at an advertising agency my senior year, at an agency downtown, and it was really cool. And it's funny because I feel like agency life feels so glamorous to people, and like it can be. I will say it was kind of cool. I got to participate in actually like TV segments. So we did some that were like sunrise photo shoots or sunrise segments where I was getting up at like 4 a.m. and like leaving my senior house in the middle of the night, going downtown to film this sunrise segment with like Channel 13 and, getting our client media coverage and things like that. So that like fast paced feel was kind of cool. The office was super cool. And I will say advertising agencies, the pace of that moves so quickly. You learn so much more there in 6 months than you would anywhere else. I think it was a really great experience, and it was like an attractive piece of my resume to have that on there. And then eventually after I graduated, I was a communications management assistant there, and then ended up getting a job after that to become a content marketing strategist for a recruiting company. I was on their marketing team, and I was there for 2 years. There were a lot of reasons why I left, but one of the biggest things is that I felt like I had done a lot and contributed a lot, but I wasn't being given, like, I asked for a raise 2 times, and the first time I asked for one, it had been ignored. The second time I asked for one, the number that they came back with, I was like, well, I can make this somewhere else. And I got another job after that, and did find another company that was willing to pay me more. And so I went to another company, and I also just was looking for more work from home flexibility. This company was very much about like being in the office. Like, COVID happened in March and we went back to the office in May. So it was, very like, be in the office. We have to be in the office, which I totally understand. It just wasn't something that I wanted to do. Like, I just didn't want to be in the office all the time. I just feel like, you know what? Even at that point, I'm like, it's 2020. It's time to get with the times. And like, you know what? If you want to work from home and your company that you're working at is only giving you 1 work from home day a week, and you want to work from home all the time, or you want to work from home 80% of the time, then like, you got to go find another job that's going to give you that ability. But like I said, there were so many reasons why I left this job. What I was doing was primarily writing, and that was great experience and translates really well even to what I'm doing now. Because it allows me to offer more services in my business than just illustration. I also do social media management, content writing for my clients. I help with their email marketing, things like that. So it's kind of helpful to have all those things in my arsenal and to have years of experience with all of those things. I knew I wasn't at a job that I wanted to be at long term. So it was just kind of difficult. And I just kind of got to a point where I was like, I don't know why I'm still here. So I left that company and ended up working with another advertising agency, and I was not there for very long. I was there for a little under a year. And honestly, like, when I started that job, it was so needed. Like, I needed to get out of the job that I was at before. And like, I needed the job that I was at, and it killed me that I didn't spend more time at the company that I was at before I left to go full time with my business, because honestly, like, I was planning on being there for 5 years, and you can see in other videos, I've talked more in depth about that, but I was fully planning on being there until I had children. And then God just like completely radically changed my plans. And I knew it wasn't going to be good for my mental health to stay at my full-time job and continue with Simply Sophie Designs. And my business was really picking up a lot, and it was picking up a lot, but I also realized like I had consistently been making a full-time income with my business for like the past year. And so I was just like, why? Like, I'm making a full-time income with my business and I don't even have full-time hours to put towards it. So like, why am I doing this? Why am I not just pursuing my business full-time? And I honestly felt like, if I stay at this job any longer, it's only going to be because I'm caring about what somebody else thinks, or because I'm putting somebody else before me. And I don't subscribe to the idea that everything is about you 24/7 and that you should never take other people into consideration. But I did feel like, okay, this is a job. Everybody's replaceable. Also, like, they deserve to have somebody in this seat that really, really wants to be there. And I knew that I didn't want to really be there anymore. And so out of respect for my employer, I also knew that I was like, okay, it's time to be done. So I left in November, and I was at that job. I was a project manager. So that was like a pretty big difference from what I had been doing before. But honestly, it felt really natural to me just because I am naturally organized and good at keeping things going, which has helped me a lot in transitioning to being a full-time business owner and being my own boss, because you really do have to have a lot of discipline and be organized and be able to keep things on task. And so if you're not good at that and you don't have anybody keeping you on task when you're a full-time small business owner, that can definitely be difficult. But thankfully, that is not something that I struggle with. So yeah, I won't go into the details of all those jobs and, the things I did and didn't like about them, but that was really what led me to the job that I am at now. that I've been working on for the past 4+ years and now have been full-time with for about 6 months, which is being a full-time illustrator and designer at Simply Sophie Designs. And this is my full-time job now. I still can't believe I'm saying it. It's beyond fun. Favorite parts of being a full-time business owner and what I'm doing in my career path now is that there is no limit to what I can achieve. You're working for somebody else. It's like, here's your yearly salary. Like, sure, you can get raises, but it's like, this is what you're making. Unless you're like in sales, I know that can change obviously, but I didn't want to be in sales, even though there definitely is an aspect of sales in what I do now. I like selling the things that I do. I don't want to sell somebody else's stuff. And basically I just got to the point where I was like, I'm tired of working so hard for somebody else's dream, and I just really want to work hard for mine. But my favorite things about it is just the limitless opportunity. I set monthly revenue goals at the beginning of this year, and I've already been surpassing them by over $2,000 each month for the last couple months, which has been crazy. I surpassed my corporate monthly salary a long time ago, which is kind of insane to think about. And I remember being financially like freaked out about this because I'm like, what if we don't make any money? And now I'm like, it was financially smarter for me to work for myself because I'm able to make more money with my time. My all-time favorite part about this is that I'm my own boss. I'm not on anybody else's schedule but mine. I can wake up when I want and do what I want when I want. And I'm just being straight up. I'm just being fully honest. To me, you can't put a price on that. Like, I remember at one of my jobs, I got a paycheck every single week. Of course, that's nice. But to me, I'm like, I don't miss that at all, simply because I am just so thankful that now I completely set my own schedule and I do what I want to do. I can take time off when I want to take time off. I can work from anywhere in the world that I want. And to me, that is just like the ultimate. Like, I'll never go back. So yeah, that's how I got here. Those are all the jobs that I've had. Hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too boring, but I just thought it would be fun to share that with you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see y'all in the next video. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye guys.